January 16, 2017. A frigid pre-dawn hour in Central Asia, where the quiet of a sleeping village lay beneath the flight path of a giant in the sky. Turkish Airlines Flight 6491 was just another cargo run, but at 7:17 am that routine flight turned into a catastrophe, claiming 39 lives, 4 in the sky and 35 below. This is the story of Turkish Airlines Flight 6491. The night of January 15, 2017 was restless in Hangan, a city pulsing with neon lights and the hum of ceaseless activity. At Cheklapkok International Airport, a Boeing 747 freighter, registration TC-MCL, sat on the cargo apron, its massive silhouette dwarfing the ground crew scurrying beneath it. The plane was loaded with consumer goods, electronics, appliances and textiles destined for Istanbul via a refueling stop in Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan. Turkish Airlines Flight 6491, as it was designated, was a routine cargo run, one of a countless flights crisscrossing Asia and Europe. But this night it would become anything but routine. The crew consisted of 4 Turkish nationals, each a veteran in their field. Captain Ibrahim Kurchan-Diransi, aged 59, commanded the flight with 10,808 hours of experience, including 820 on the 747. His co-pilot, Kazim Andul, also aged 59, brought 5,894 hours, 1,758 of them on the jumbo jet. Loadmaster in Sakhkoka and cargo handler Melina Slan rounded out the team responsible for securing the payload that filled the cavernous hold. Bishkek wasn't a regular stop for ACT, but the route was familiar enough. Depart Hong Kong, climb over the Himalayas, refuel at Manas International Airport, then press on to Istanbul. A 2-hour delay at the gate pushed takeoff to 7:12 pm, though the crew weren't fazed by the late start. They had flown overnight howls before. At 7:31 pm, the 747's 4 Pratt & Whitney engines thundered to life, propelling the 350-ton freighter down runway 07R. The climb out was smooth, TC-MCL slicing through the humid night air, its navigation lights winking against the city's glow. For 6 hours, the flight tracked northwest, crossing China's vast interior and skirting the Tian Shan Mountains. The autopilot had course, and the weather ahead seemed manageable. Fog at Manas, yes, but within CAT-2 landing limit, with visibility down to 325 feet and a runway visual range of 300 meters. Manas International Airport, 15 miles north of Bishkek, sat at 2,090 feet above sea level, ringed by rugged peaks that loomed in the darkness. At 1:06 am, Flight 6491 checked in with Bishkek's approach 50 miles out. Turkish for 691, descending to 17,000 feet, Rahat waypoint, Diransi radioed, his voice steady over the static. The controller cleared them for the instrument landing system approach to runway 26. A 13,779-foot strip equipped with an instrument landing system to guide planes through low visibility. The crew configured the autopilot for an auto land, a procedure the 747's sophisticated systems could execute even in fog, provided by the glide slope and localizer thickness locked in correctly. The approach began at Rahat, a waypoint 25 miles east of the runway, where the plane descended from 17,000 feet over the mountains. By Tokpa, 10 miles out, they were at 8,600 feet, still 6,500 feet above the airport, higher than ideal but not yet critical. The autopilot captured the localizer, aligning the 747 with runway 26 centerline, and the crew watched for the glide slope to engage, a 3-degree descent path that would bring them safely down. At 1:15 am, the glide slope indicator flickered to life, or so they thought. Glide slope captured, Andul confirmed, but something was off. The altimeter showed 5,800 feet above ground level at the outer marker, 4.5 miles from the threshold, nearly 2,000 feet too high. A standard approach would have them at 1,500 feet above ground level there. Diransi's frustration crackled over the cockpit voice recorder. "What the hell is this? We are too high. Controller screwed us!" He snapped, blaming Bishkek approach for not vectoring them lower sooner. Andul stayed calm, cross-checking instruments. "Autopilot's got it. 3 degrees," he said, trusting the system. But the glide slope signal was a phantom, a false slope from the ILS antenna, a rare but known hazard that could mislead pilots into a steeper or offset descent. The 747's auto-land mode, designed for precision, latched onto this illusion, guiding the plane down an inertial path that didn't align with the runway. The crew didn't notice or didn't act. At 1:16 am, radar tracked TCMCL at 2,375 feet above mean sea level, roughly 300 feet above ground level, still east of the runway threshold. The fog thickened, a grey shroud swallowing the runway lights. 500, the synthetic voice of the radio altimeter called. Drancy hesitated. "Runway in sight?" he asked. Andul strained forward. "Negative." The cockpit voice recorder captured the tense exchange. "We are too high. Go around," Andul suggested. "No, it's fine. We've got it," Drancy countered, fixated on the autopilot's descent. At 1:17 am, 58 feet above ground, the autoland flared the nose up as if preparing to touch down. But they were overflying the runway's end, not its start, 1,300 feet past the threshold, 900 meters beyond safety. "Minimus," the altimeter blared. Reality hit. "Go around," Drancy shouted, shoving the throttles forward. The engines spooled up, but it was too late. Just 7 seconds later, the 747 slammed into the village of Dacha Su, a cluster of homes of 3,300 feet west of runway 26. The plane's left wing clipped a house, cut wheeling the fuselage into a row of brick dwellings. A fireball erupted, 150,000 pounds of jet fuel igniting in a deafening roar. 38 homes were flattened, debris scattering across a half-mile radius. Villagers asleep in the pre-dawn quiet. Parents, children, grandparents never stood a chance. The crash killed 35 on the ground, including 17 children and all 4 crew members aboard. In Dacha Su, the silence of fog gave way to screams and sirens. Kyrgyz emergency crews arrived by 7:30 am, firefighters battling flames amid the stretch of burning fuel and wood. Cranes hoisted twisted metal. The 747's tail, its Turkish Airlines logo, scorched but intact, while rescuers found no survivors in the wreckage. The Interstate Aviation Committee launched an investigation joined by Turkish and Boeing experts. Flight data and cockpit voice recorder recordings painted a grim picture. The crew had ignored altitude warnings, fixated on a felt glide slope, and delayed the go-around until seconds too late. The Interstate Aviation Committee's report cited a loss of control of the aircraft position relative to the glide slope as the probable cause, fueled by pilot error, fatigue, and a misleading autopilot. The 747's autoland system didn't disengage when the true glide slope vanished. Contributing factors piled up: poor crew resource management, inadequate training for false signals, and Bishkek's lax approach control. The crash spurred calls for stricter ILS protocols and autopilot redesigns, but change came slowly. TCMCL, built in 2003 with 46,820 hours, ended as CRASP, its last C-check in November 2015, no match for human frailty and nature as well. On January 16, 2017, Flight 4691 turned a quiet village into a graveyard and a routine stop into a reckoning. It was a story of trust in machines, misjudgment in the dark, and a fog-shrouded descent that left scars on both land and memory. Kyrgyzstan's deadliest air disaster since 2008 and a cautionary tale for the skies.